How y'all doing? I'm in a bit of a funk and I need to get out of it. I have spent the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks doing nothing. Gotta change. Not really relevant to the flow of my groove right now, but I need to get back in the groove, and if I can, so can you. Which means that if I can be a like really low down bum, whiny, frumpy, annoying little bitch, so can you. Don't do it. I had hoped to have done some things today, and well, I mean, realistically, the only day today could have gotten worse at one point was if the house caught fire. And that was pretty much how I thought the day was starting. So, picture this. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden you start to hear this kind of sizzle or a hiss. Right? It could be an aerosol can, something compressed, just kind of venting. The seal's gone or something, I don't know, and you just hear this kind of, yeah? Or it could be the fizz of a dodgy electrical socket. I never figured out which it was, to be honest. Woke the wife up. I was like, hey, yo, that don't sound good. And she had a look, checked out a bunch of stuff around the room, and just like, fuck it. I just went back to bed, just unplugged everything and went to bed. So, well rested. Not at all. And then people's just tempers are frayed, moods are up and down. For all the kind folks who have emailed, messaged me, texted me, whatever. Everyone is fine. Okay? Everyone is fine, just, I'm a little pissed off. It's routine. It gets people down. Don't worry about it, you know? When you hear that the town of Lowestoft has gone up in a ball of flame, then start to worry. I'm not saying it was me, but it might have been. Anyway, the day has had a low, a mid, and a high point. I'm not entirely sure which of these is which, but you'll do the figuring, okay? So, first note. The other day, I wanted to flash Nexus 6. It's down here. And I complained we were going to put Lineage 18.1 on here because it's running on nightly betas. It's one of the oldest phones that is supported by LinageOS. The idea being we were going to de-Google the phone. Now the battery in this phone is completely cocked it, so it's not ideal, but you can replace the battery for about $15. You can get the phone for about $30. And I was going to use it to in place of my Nexus 5. I've got a Nexus 5 just down there, which is the same kind of groove, de-Googled. It's a really nice little phone. Battery lasts for like a bajillion years because it's not calling home to all these other services and stuff. But there was an issue with 18.1. My Nexus 5 runs 17.1, and that's an unofficial build. This runs a newer version, 18.1, not the current, which is 19.1, I think, but still 18.1, rad. The issue being in some of the previous 90s, going all the way back to like May, apparently, was that Shamu, which is this phone, has a bug whereby if you fresh install and then at any point have to reboot the phone, so, I don't know, it crashes, powers down, whatever, well, the battery's dead, so as soon as the cable gets pulled, it powers down. As soon as you power it back on, the camera app just kind of disappears. So it's not on your launcher at all, it's not on the home screen, it's not in your app drawer, it's just not there, it just disappears. But if you know the shortcut to access the camera, which is double tap the power button, the camera will come up. It's there, you just can't see it. It just disappears and then doesn't come back. Well, I checked for an update today because I was bored, and hey yo, there was an update, and lo and behold, the camera app is back. So now this phone is plenty good enough. If anyone wants to try LinageOS on a cheap phone, or they want to de-Google a phone, a Xiaomi, a Nexus 6, a Motorola Nexus 6 is supported. It has 18.1 as a nightly, and the one gripe I had with it, minus the battery, but the software gripe I had with it, has now gone in the bin. So, yeah. Just got to get like a 15 quid battery, take it to bits, and I can change the battery. Second event of the day. I have finally had a Taco Bell. What? Didn't you know? They were the only survivors of the Great Franchise War. It's a Demolition Man thing. I love that film, by the way. Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix. Mwah! Fantastic. Couldn't imagine anyone else playing that motherfucker. You say Demolition Man, I think Wesley Snipes. Right there. But Taco Bell was the only like fast food restaurant to survive in the future, and it was, you know, considered healthy enough for them to still serve it. Like anything with salt and all that. Like anything that wasn't considered healthy was illegal, so they put it in the bin. I think they might have changed that depending on what region the film came out in, but I could just be talking shit there. Maybe that's my dream, that somewhere else in the world a big old fat greasy burger was considered healthy. Usually I would imagine that to be America, but, you know, whatever. So we got this Taco Bell, and it was alright. It tasted good. It was reasonably priced. Like you have to understand that my town, Lowestoft, is back of the boonies, like bumfuck middle of nowhere, yeah? But somehow we've got a Taco Bell now. We literally had a bunch of really cool big city stuff in the 80s. This was a pretty big, busy town in the late 70s. Like from the 60s through to the mid 80s, this town was pretty hardcore. But as soon as I was born, the town went in the bin. You know, we had big cinema complexes, fast food chains were here, loads of factories, production, all sorts. And then mid 80s come and the town went in the bin. But we finally got a Taco Bell. And as I said, it was alright. Yeah, it was neat. There was fake cheese. That was cool. It tasted good. It was different. But my wife's not sold on it, so we'll probably never have that again. But I have to say, though, I'm not a huge fan of bastardized food. Right? So Taco Bell is supposed to be Mexican food? I don't know. Right? It's like, I don't like when you go to an American restaurant and it's not really American food, or you go to a Chinese restaurant and it's a bastardized version of what you get, or an Indian restaurant and you get a bastardized version of Indian food. It's not actually Indian food. It's tailored to the palate of the people of the zone. The zone being it's like, I don't know if I could ever get proper Jamaican food. Like, is the food that I get served what I would get if I went to where it came from, kind of thing? Probably not. But, you know, it was alright. It was cool. Like I said, probably never have it again. But we've got a Taco Bell. We've got all the big things. We got Burger King here too now. Like, well, hey, we're moving up in the world. There's more food places in this town than there are actual fucking shops. So if you're hungry, or you want to gamble, or get a tattoo, or you want to get old, those are some of the things you can do here. That's pretty much it, though. I mean, I suppose you can get shit-faced. There's a few pubs in town, but cool. So that's 2 of the 3 down. Fuck, what was the third? Oh yeah, you complete bastards, right? So I like sound. Right? I like audio. Loads of people like sound. I have been robbed of my vision before, and my hearing is, apparently it could be caused by stress, but I have pretty nasty tinnitus from time to time. I don't mind not being able to see as much as I as much as I don't like being able to hear. Like I can't, if I go on an airplane, my head doesn't regulate to pressure differences, and so I go deaf for like a week after I come off of a plane, which is fucking miserable. I would rather hear something than see it. And sometimes when my tinnitus kicks in, I go pretty dizzy. And like tinnitus, if you don't know what that is like a ringing sound in your ears. Just go and play Call of Duty and just let someone flashbang you, and that squeal that you hear the way they symbolize going deaf. That's what happens in my ears. And as I said, I can go a bit dizzy with it. But I was rocking out today with a pair of Moondrop Chus. I really like these IEMs in ear monitors. They're basically just like earbuds, yeah. And $20. They sound pretty good. They're smooth, right? For what these are, they're fantastic. However, I'm rocking around, I'm doing my stuff today, and all of a sudden the left ear tanks it, and I was like, oh shit, man, it's like my tinnitus kicking in like hardcore, like there's no ringing, or like I had a bit of a ringing at one point, and then just the left ear dropped, and I was like, shit, dude, my left ear has completely tanked it. I get home and I check the IEMs, I check the earbuds, and the left ear has lost like 80% of its volume, or the left bud has lost 80% of its volume. I was really worried, man. I at one point I thought, fuck, man, my hearing's just tanked. And I was really, really miserable about it, or I was a bit disappointed, because I've only had these. Okay, so get this. I've had an SSD that I've had for 5 months fail. So that was a Samsung, blah, 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 whatever. 5 months. Dead. Right? Moondrop Chus, 3 months. And they bit it. They did. But I bought them back. Okay? But these are really good for the cache. But there are 2 things I don't like. Okay? Just only 2. If you don't like flat tunings, these won't be ideal for you. If you like a nice beefy V shape, these ain't gonna do it for you. They sound good, but they're a bit on the flat side. So the bits I don't like, pop it into your lug, yeah, and they've got a nice fit. The build on them is fantastic, or at least the materials used is aluminium, or it feels like aluminium. But here's the groove, right? On the spring tips, the Moondrop spring tips. These are apparently worth like $10 or something like that alone. So or maybe even more than that. So from what I understand, you basically get a pair of IEMs for a little bit more than what you pay for the tips. So you pop them in, right? And then you loop this around your ear like that. And I don't like that at all. I don't like it. I'd much rather it be like these, and you've got a nice hook, right? To hang over your ear, okay? I much prefer that. They do come with a plastic thing that you can hook around here, but it's shite. It's just not ideal, okay? So there's that, and they don't come with a detachable cable, and eventually the cable will break, so they'll go in the bin, but they're built really nicely, but you can't change the cable. Now, some people have modified these so you can change the cable on them, but you know, so there's my gripes, right? They sound great. They're built quite nicely. They don't have a loop for the ear, and the cable's attached. But I lost my left ear, and I've since bought it back. Okay. If anyone wants a tip, it's a filter issue. Okay. This is going to seem like a really silly fix. But if you don't want to take these apart, and you can take them apart and change all of the gump, like you can change the grill and the filters and stuff. You can just buy all that and change all that if you wish. But just as a quick trick, just to see if it's like the cable or the actual bud itself. Like I say, I lost about 80% volume. They sounded fucking terrible. Clean off your gold or take the spring tip off if you want. Because you don't want to be doing this if you've got all fucking like gam from inside your head around your bud, right? These are clean, because I cleaned them off earlier, right? What you've got to do, go like this, put it in your gob, and then just go, and just give it a little, just suck it. Just suck the tip, and that will pull everything towards the ear tip, and you should get your volume back. as I say, if you want to do a more permanent fix, take it to bits. But for anyone that doesn't want to do that, you can just quick fix it by doing that. If it doesn't work, you might have to go in and do a bit more of fiddling with the old the guts of the things. But that brought them back. I was a bit disappointed to start with because, like I say, I really like these. But thankfully, I have buckets of IEMs. Those are like my first Moondrops, and they failed after 3 months. We've got Turtle Beach Battle Buds, Moondrop Quarks. I like these. And I've got like 5 or 6 different pairs of KZs, and these are the KZZS10 Pros. I think these are like, what, 30 quid, 40 quid, something like that. Unapologetically V-shaped, so a bass lift and a treble lift, but they sound good. They sound good. Like, I don't give a shit what anyone says. If you don't like a V-shape, then you don't like a V-shape. But and their build quality isn't fantastic. Like the QC, the quality control coming out of the factory, not ideal. But these, for what they cost versus like a pair of like cheap earbuds or whatever, sound fantastic. Just, you know. Not all tunings will appeal to your specific taste, but then that's what an EQ is for. Don't be terrified of an EQ. But I'm probably going to be using the ZS10s for a while just because I do like that ear loop and the changeable cable, although these are too fat boy for me to sleep in. So, yeah, they're nice. They're all right. So there's my 3 highlights for today. Like I said, I don't know in which order. You could say that Bring Back the Chews from the Grave was a good one, or the getting the camera app back on the Nexus 6 is a good one, or the fact that we finally have a Taco Bell is a good one. But then you could also say it's a good or a bad depending on how you slice it. But that is the day. And I need to get out of this funk and actually get some shit done. I wanted to get shit done today. I started setting things up and sorting some things out to get stuff done today. And then I just didn't. Procrastination is not a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Not in this house. There's no fucking need for it. Because all you end up doing is sitting in front of the TV and being bored out of your mind. And that doesn't feel good. Relaxing's one thing, but when it becomes the regular thing, what do you do to be fulfilled, to feel fulfilled? Because you're supposed to do the cool thing, and then you're rewarded with relaxing. If relaxing becomes the thing, that's a bad loop. But I'm gonna head off. That Taco Bell was alright. It was surprisingly good actually for what it was. No, my luck is probably like, I don't know. I think I'll try and think of somewhere that wouldn't have that kind of food. Completely wouldn't have that kind of food. That isn't already on the high street for when you're completely drunk out your face. Antarctic. Could be Antarctic food for all I fucking know. Penguin chow. But, yeah. So, hope you're well. And I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. I'm going to start cutting these down to about fucking 5 years rather than 20 minutes. But that'll come one day. One day. When I can be bothered. See you.